Okay, what I got here is just slopped on primer on my hardboard masonite backdrop that goes around, and I started painting kind of a dark, cloudy, gloomy looking day because I was really, I don't know, everybody's got a nice sunny day on their layout, and I just wanted something different in this room to make it look like, oh, it's gonna rain probably pretty soon. So if I pan around, there might be a shadow or two here. I don't think I have my lighting on right. Maybe that helps. I don't know. But I started painting clouds and a grayish sky the whole way around. And I started yesterday after I finished that video about rocks. And I mentioned at the end I was just tired of looking at this backdrop. So I had the paint and stuff. So I figured, just going to go ahead and do it. So that's what I got done so far. I'll show you. Maybe I'll do like a, I don't know, like a 3 or 4 foot section here. There's a seam. It's filled in with joint compound and then just sanded. Primer's just slopped on. I didn't need to cover every inch. I didn't care. Just as long as I had something for the next round of paint to grab a hold onto. So, all right, I'll stop yapping here for a second, and I'll go over what paints I'm using here. All right, what I'm using. Glidden. This is a white paint. It's just an interior paint. Well, they're all 3 interior paints. I got 3 different colors. Then 2 Valspers. This is like a darkish gray. And another one that's like a lighter gray. And it's all flat interior latex paint and primer. Some of them are combined. I'm also using Artist Loft tube acrylics, just 2 colors. There's one that's just called gray, which is actually pretty dark, and then a neutral gray, which is, in my opinion, lighter than a neutral gray. So those 2 colors. Brushes wise, I use old crappy brushes. I buy the cheapest brushes you can find at Home Depot or something. An example, look at that thing. Look at this one, bristles flayed out. Love it. That's what we need. Destroyed brushes make great clouds. Small brush here. Yeah, another one. I tried to make some rain coming out of that cloud there. I don't think I like it. I might just cover that up. One thing about it, if you can do something and then you don't like it, you can just paint right over it. So let me get going here. Show you how I start this. Okay, one thing about clouds. Clouds don't scale well. So you can, when you're doing clouds and stuff, you can do them any size you really want. If I took this backdrop down and stuck it behind an N scale layout, or an O scale layout, I think it would look just as good. Clouds just don't scale because they're, oh boy, they're just so big, and some are so small, and that doesn't matter. So you can't say I'm doing an HO scale cloud because I'm just doing a cloud. All right, first thing I do. First thing I do is actually, I looked at a lot of pictures of stormy, gloomy days on the internet and saved some to my phone so I could refer to it. And the other day I went outside and looked, because it was cloudy and gloomy. I went outside and stared at the sky for a while and got a good fresh picture in my mind of what one looks like. And then they're all different again. Some are darker, some are gloomier, some are lighter. Some will have peaks of sunshine. I mean, it's up to you, however you want to do stuff. All right, I take this darker gray. I'm just going to brush this over. I'll go out to about here, maybe, as far as my arm can reach. I do have to stand on a step stool to do this. If I'd been smart, I would have done this before I put the bench work up, so I wouldn't have to lean. But it is what it is now, huh? And this is not painting your bedroom or your living room. It doesn't have to be perfect. A little bit of primer shows through, that's fine too. So this is all about blending colors, channeling my inner Bob Ross, I guess. I am no professional artist. I have a cousin though, and he's blood related to me. That is, out in California. So maybe I have a little bit of something in me from the family when it comes to painting. My sister can paint good, but she's not. He does landscapes. My cousin, my sister, she does all kinds of whimsical things and paintings and fairies and gnomes and cute things. All right, let me get down here. This. See, that seam is almost gone now. I think there's a little bit left. If you look at it real close, you can see it. And I put extra light on here, so now you might even be able to see it better than I can on the video. I don't know. Down here. I don't care if I get any on my plaster. No big deal. Just get covered up anyhow. One thing you should do is cover your tracks, if nothing else. I can't tell you how many times I slopped stuff on my tracks. Paint and plaster and who knows what all. Okay. Now we got that part. That's like, I don't know, what's that, a yardstick? Maybe not even. I take a small little brush and I go in here in this light gray. I'm going to do some cloud effects. Cloudy, gloomy cloud effects. We'll go in this light and I'm just going to make a cloud. Kind of the shape of a cloud. And I'm going to spin and twirl the brush and move it around. And we'll do one maybe that looks like. Maybe it's kind of that shape, sort of. Alright. Go in here. I'm just lightly going over it, letting some of the gray shine through from the original application. We're going to put on multiple layers. Clouds are many different colors. They're not just white puffs in the air, and then during stormy days they're not just black cotton balls. And if you want to change the shape, looks kind of like a flying saucer. Let's do maybe a bigger puff in here. Just random. Everything's random here. There's no scientific method. Let's randomize it. Even if you stop there, and I mean, that's even looks better than what was there. If you just stop with that. But we're going to go a little step further. I'm going to take some of this white on the same brush. Dip it in there. And I'm just going to put splotches at the top. Like that. Sunlight is reflecting somewhat. There's some sun somewhere. Alright. What did that? Go back with this small brush and just lightly blend it all together. I'm pushing on it a little bit to get it to blend. There, it's kind of lighter up top. Throw a little bit in here and there. All about blending. Alright, now I'm going to the undersides. Shadows. I use that darker gray from the acrylic. Or just acrylic tube. Use a small brush. I just leave the paint on it. I don't clean brushes in between this stuff. And then when I'm all done, I throw them all in the trash can. No, I'm kidding. If they're still okay to use for something, I will clean them pretty good. All right, I'm going to do the same like I did on the top, or on the bottom. Feather it. Feather it. Twist it, turn it. And you can take a little bit, and you put some in there. And now you have almost two clouds on top of each other. And I do it left-handed. Yeah, right. That always works well. I'm not ambidextrous. There's that. All right. Okay, still not done. Much more to do. I'm going back in with this regular gray a little bit. Just gonna put a little bit on the end of this big brush. Put some dabs here and there like that. Then I'm just gonna go like this. Blend it. If I covered up too much of the darkness, I can just add a little more. It's just a work in progress. I put music on, listen to a podcast, think about warm weather, which isn't today in central Pennsylvania. It's like 50 degrees maybe out there. Too cold for my blood. That means indoor work day. Yay! All right. Add some streaking here and there. At this point, I'm going to step back and take a look at it from the other side of the room. Now what do I want to do to that? From here, it looks like I could use some more cloud underneath that. Maybe a little bit toward the top. So I'm going to do the same process. Probably want something more roundish shape in here. Now I'm going to do the same process that I just showed you. But in the meantime, I'm going to turn this off, because once you've seen it on one cloud, you've seen it on all, because I do it the same way. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'll turn it back on when I'm done and show you what it looks like. Well, we got her done. Or as done as it's going to get. Give you a kind of panorama. There's going to be a little shadow here. Not so sure I'm happy with the way these lights look. They look fine on the layout, but on the backdrop, there's shadows. I don't know. Maybe it'll end up looking natural. I'll have to see if it grows on me. If not, maybe I'll have to make a change. But anyhow, yesterday afternoon, a couple hours, maybe about 3 hours today. That's about it. That's all it took. Get her done. You may be asking what this thing is here. There's actually an access door behind there that goes to a crawl space. And I need to be able to access it in case of an emergency, like broken pipes or something. So really, I just made a framework to cover the door. because I didn't want this big door right in the middle of the. I mean, I'm not really entirely happy with it, but it is what it is. Sometimes you're stuck with what you got. Come over here and look, it's not too bad. But it's still noticeable, but what the hey? It's if I need to get behind there, it's only held on with like 2 screws and some Velcro tape. So I can pull it off of there and if I need to open that door. And there's the benchwork section right below it is also removable by just a couple screws if I ever need to. Hopefully I never will. It can stay closed up forever, but you never know. So I don't know. I think it came one thing I forgot to mention about painting. I'm using wet on wet, so I'm not letting things dry in between putting layers on. It's all right if the initial base starts to dry, but then everything else, the cloud wise and stuff, I'm just got to do wet on wet, wet brush on wet paint. Yep, not too shabby. Not too shabby. I'm pretty happy with it. Looks good when you first walk into the room. If I'm backing up here. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Another thing to say about this, about clouds, is water. No, not the stuff that falls out of clouds. This here in the area in the middle, like I explained before on other videos, pretty much, maybe not all, but a lot of where you see bare plywood here is going to be nothing but water. So it's going to be a huge water feature. And I've never done one this big before. So that's going to be fun. But I have lots of extra paint, backdrop paint left. That is what the base of this bay will be painted. You're not going to see blue water because your color, quote unquote, of water is depending on what your sky looks like and where your sun looks like. So it's very rare you're going to see blue water like ever. Once in a while, like the Caribbean, out there with nothing, no mountains, no trees, no shade, it's going to be blue. Sometimes you'll get a lake like that way out in the middle of the country. It'll look blue on a beautiful, sunny, cloudless day. But with all these clouds and gray gloominess, the water is going to have to reflect that and be gray and gloomy as well. So just wanted to throw that out there. Someday I'll do a video on how I do water. And even I don't know how I'm doing this yet. I have some ideas. Got a lot of online advice and techniques and stuff. So, well, anyhow, back to the clouds. I think it looks cool. Let me know how you liked it. I think it is. I think it's nice. So, other ways you can do this stuff is with air, like rattle cans, stencils for clouds, spraying, 3, 4, 5 inches away from your stencil to get a faded effect with your rattle can. Airbrush, same way you can do that. I think just a plain old brush works well. I don't have to clean an airbrush. Just got to scrub out a couple brushes and take that one that's all beat up and save it just for this kind of stuff. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. We'll catch you on the next one. Appreciate you. And thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do. And with that, have a wonderful Sunday.